Oh, whoa! Welcome back to the channel. Yes, I'm still training. Yes, we're still posting. I don't know, I was kind of tired of posting the last couple of days, so I took a little break. It's a deload week, so maybe I'll keep that cycle going. On the deload weeks, I won't post as often because the training sessions are so short. Overall, this week was not a very good week of training for me. In the beginning of the week, I thought, I don't think I need a deload. And then going into the week, I'm like, wow, I feel pretty beat up. My knees hurt a lot. Yesterday's run was terrible. I couldn't get out of zone one. Everything was just so heavy and hard. I couldn't get out of zone one. The amount of effort it was going to take to get out of zone one was going to be too high. And I think that's an important thing, and I mentioned that right when we started the training. We have our zones, right? We have our zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5, and a lot of training's done in zone 2, which is 70 to 79% of your heart rate or your estimated heart rate. And a lot of times RPE can correlate with zone training, right? So if you're in zone 2, you're probably somewhere around RP 5, 6, right? If you're in zone 5, you're probably at RPE or PE, perceived effort, of 9 or 10. So oftentimes they overlap. But a good example was yesterday. I felt like I was already pushing at RPE 7, and I was still in zone 1. And it's if I push myself into zone 2, I know it's going to be RPE 8. If I go into zone 3, I'm going to be at RPE 9, RPE 10. I was that tired. So my heart rate was not connected to my perceived effort at all. It was a bad run. So I ran 4 kilometers out. I walked 4 kilometers back. That's how bad it was. But it's fine. I still got in some work. I still got in some training. I didn't get injured, which is great. So sometimes you're going to have a bad session, and it's just it is what it is. You just have a bad session, whether it's with weights or with a run or something like that, and you just keep going. But the auto-regulation, the RPE, the rate of perceived exertion, that matters. That really matters. So you have your zones, you have your objective things, whether you're lifting weights and you're doing percentages of your estimated, 1 rep max, or you're doing training and you're trying to stick to an objective heart rate zone, your perceived effort does matter. And so, yeah, just kind of a little lesson for the day. Anyway, I'm here at Watchdog. I have from 8 to 9:30, I have a technical session with some lifters that are going to be doing a meet at the gym in October. So if you're interested in dropping in to observe a meet here at Watchdog, that's going to be October 11th. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So doing this tech session with these guys, I'll see if I can get some footage of that so you can kind of see what it looks like when we're training in the gym. I have some resistance training today. I'm hoping that today's a good session because I pulled back so much yesterday on that run and I didn't force myself to do anything. I did focus on recovery. I got really good sleep. I ate my protein. I relaxed yesterday. I did my best not to stress out. So I'm hoping that carries over into today to a good lifting session. But even if it's not a great lifting session, same thing as yesterday. I'll just pull back where I need to, give myself some room to recover, make sure I get some steps in, and do all the things. All right, well, let's get set up.
Doubles, okay? So you have 2 chances. Get it right. Yeah. Don't go. You're not going heavier. I need you to sit lower. Okay. You're about 3 inches behind. Okay.
Well, that was fun. 2-hour tech session with my lifters that are going to be doing a meet. They all did really well today. It's my coaching style changes dependent on the kind of goal. So a lot of these guys, I'm a lot harder on them in the tech sessions as far as wanting appropriate technique, hitting the comp standards, because they signed up to do a competition and I want them to do their best they can possibly do
on test day. I don't want them to look a fool in front of their friends and their family. So it's my responsibility to hold them to an objective standard and then train them to that standard and make sure that they can execute that standard really, really well. Versus, just general strength and conditioning training, just trying to be healthy. It's like, we want good technique and we want, full range of motion stuff. But if you're struggling to get there or you're scared, that's okay. We can always find a modification or change it. We can be more touchy-feely. But the second you tell me as an athlete, as a client, hey, I want to do this competition, oh, it's game on. Totally different coaching style. But that's just to ensure success in that particular, strategy. As for me, I got to do my resistance training, so let's get to it. Well, that was resistance training. I think Cristy has a double today, so if she decides to come back to the gym, I may come with her and just do some like ab work and stuff. I always skip abs, so if she comes to the gym later, I'll come with her. I'll do some abs, some calves, maybe some triceps, rear delts, like little muscles that aren't necessarily programmed right now, but they could always use some love and attention. All right, until then, we're going back home and we're gonna eat lunch.
5 hours later.
Back for round 2. Cristy did a 27-mile run this morning.
I did 15 miles at McAllister Park. We can insert a tiny clip that I got today.
So now she's got your resistance training. I'm gonna just train calves, triceps, rear delts, and then get in some steps, because otherwise I get no steps today. All right, let's go do it. All done. Just finished up. Now we're heading home.
Yeah.
All right.